Patch me through. I've obtained the amber.
Excellent.
Just one question. What are you planning to do with this?
I do not pay you to ask questions. All you need to know is a new dawn is breaking. 100 will give their lives so that just one may live. I am expediting that change.
So, we're talking millions of casualties.
Billions.
How ambitious. We're changing course, now.
So, ladies and gentlemen, let's discuss that little cutscene and the theory I have about the next few remakes that Capcom may be doing for the Resident Evil games and how they may fit into the grand scheme of the series. Oh, I got an S. Fantastic. Anyway, enough about that. So, I think the little cutscene we see there, which I have included in this video, means that maybe the events of Resident Evil 5 as it stands at the moment, maybe don't play out. Maybe Wesker doesn't get a hold of the Plagas to create the Ouroboros and all that jazz. I think what's going to happen is, I think Capcom are going to retroactively get rid of the current Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 6 to link it into the current Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil 8, in which, if you remember rightly, Chris Redfield does not work for the BSAA. He's a slightly different character, which could mean that he's actually the Chris Redfield from the first Resident Evil game, which I think we'll all agree is a slightly different version of Chris than the one we got in Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 6. So I think Code Veronica may be, this is just a theory, the next remake. But I think the next remake will be called Resident Evil 5. And it will be the events of Code Veronica, which, if you remember, featured Claire and Chris Redfield. And Wesker, remember? So I think they will try and do a new Resident Evil 5 with the events of Code Veronica, with Claire, with Chris, with Wesker, and that will lead into a new Resident Evil 6, which will lead into Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, and it'll all link up very nicely in this new Resident Evil engine remakes / retcon series, because even in this game, Operation Javier, as it's spoken about, is slightly different to the events that we know from Resident Evil The Dark Side Chronicles. So I think the next game will be called Resident Evil 5. I think it will use the events of Code Veronica and some new stuff to have Wesker in it, and Claire will be there, and Chris, and that'll lead into a brand new Resident Evil 6. Now, I love the original Resident Evil 6. In fact, I said for the longest time it was my favorite Resident Evil game. I might have to rethink that now, having played Resident Evil 4 Remake, but we shall see. So I think there will be a new Resident Evil 6, and that'll all fit nicely into a new series that comprises of Resident Evil Remake, Resident Evil 2 Remake, Resident Evil 3 Remake, Resident Evil 4 Remake, a new Resident Evil 5, a new Resident Evil 6, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, Resident Evil 8 Village, and Resident Evil 9. So, what do you think of my little theory? Agree? Disagree? Let's discuss it in the comments below. And remember the single most important thing I was telling you, dear viewer, and that is to always stay obsessed with gaming. I can't believe I got an S rank. So proud of myself. Pat yourself on the back, OCG. Oh shit, I still got the mic on. Are you still here? Oh, you must have really enjoyed this video then. In that case, you had better subscribe to the channel and check out our other content. Otherwise, you're a booby pants, and no one wants to be a booby pants.